Welcome to the Fox Walk Primitive Review of the Tree Frog by Battle Horse Knives. Some real quick specs about it. It's got a 5-inch folded length, basically a 5-inch handle, 8.5 inches overall with a 3.5-inch blade. Square sharpened spine, and this knife has an interesting feature. It has a locking pin system to where it's locked closed with the pins. You remove the 2 stainless steel pins, open the knife, and you can use it as is as a friction folder. However, I mean, that's, take that as you will. For safety, you should always reinstall at least 1 pin. And at this point, you can use it for any kind of carving task that you like. If you want to double up the strength and maybe do some batoning with it like we're going to do, that's when you reinstall the 2nd pin. And now it's pretty much ready to take abuse. This has their classic bushcraft profile. If you're familiar with their Highlander, it's not a 1/4 inch thick, but it does have the pretty much same profile as far as the handle goes, as far as the spear point blade. It is Scandi ground to, I believe it's right around 11.5 or 12 degrees inclusive. So it's got a very, very nice Scandi grind for bushcraft tasks on it. It's got this adjustable lanyard. You can turn it around any way you like, and basically cinch it down on your hand if you like to. Personally, I'm using it this way and just kind of keeping it out of my way. It's got a very light weight, and it feels very, very rugged in construction, and it's pretty responsive in your hand. Being a folder with these full thickness scales, you got a lot of girth in the grip, but at the same time, you've got a lot of control and torque for when you're carving out those deep notches. As I said before, it's got the real nice squared spine that Battle Horse is pretty much known for, so we can pretty much scrape anything we want to with that. We can scrape off some tinder, or we can strike a fire steel, or we can even scrape off a dry hide, or even take the fatty layer off of a fresh skinned rabbit or squirrel if we wanted to. Let's get into some use. Let's see how this thing carves out some fuzz and feather sticks. Battle Horse Knives are one of those companies that are known for outstanding bushcraft knives and tools. Their Scandi grinds are very, very functional and very well done. On this particular knife, being a 5/32 thickness, it wants to bite and bite deep. Getting strong curls while fuzz sticking is effortless, and it's razor sharp. Really, the only thing left behind this is operator error. Now, when doing what I like to call the actual feather stick, it's very, very important to have as much control as possible. And when you're doing this kind of function, the 2 most important things are the ability to get the correct torque with the handle, which this knife has that type of handle, and the ability to keep absolute control of the edge. And again, Battle Horse Scandi grind knives are very, very, very keen, and they're very easy to control. Making these feathers were effortless. Now, batoning this knife, I'll be honest, I had a lot of confidence in it going in, but when you baton a folder, you naturally go into it with a little bit of hesitation. Being that I promised Dan, I wasn't going to go easy on it, I just went ahead and put it through its paces as far as batoning goes, and what, in my eyes, what would be a tough trial. And it did really, really well. I mean, the thing felt pretty solid in my hands. I mean, it's a folder, so it doesn't feel as solid as a full tang, but it felt really solid. It did not give me any indication that the pins were going to tear out of the micarta, that the handle was going to break, or the thing was going to twist apart. It took the abuse, and the tip held up very, very well. My baton just broke. Look at that. That's how hard the wood is. I mean, it's 5/32, so you can feel it flexing, but it's not. I don't feel it wanting to split apart and break up. I mean, I don't want to put the stress on it that I would a fixed blade, but it's. I mean, it's doing about as good as any knife should. Yeah, that handle is taking all kinds of shock. I mean, there's more. There's dumber things I can do, and I can break this thing. I mean, anybody could. But why? Why bother with it? It's a folder. It's a bushcraft knife. It's not meant to tear down the woods at all. It's meant to make bushcrafting easier, is what it's meant to do. That's kind of punky. This up here, this is harder. Yeah, I can't even shove the knife down into it, so it looks rotted, but it's hard. Blade is still tight. These pins held up. It might work out a little bit from the vibration, from the shock when you're beating on it, but I mean, just push them in a little bit. They should be fine. They're not going to come out because they got the little bearing locks, so they're not going to come out past the tang, but they are wiggling in the micarta just a little bit, which is acceptable. That's fine. I could complain about far worse things on other knives, that's for sure. See, the poplar's going. And now we can put the feather stick on it. I mean, so there you have it. This knife will scrape the living daylights out of a fire steel. No problem. It'll scrape the wood and give you, you know, tinder scrapings too. I'm very, very, very impressed with this blade. I mean, by all standpoints and all stretches of the imagination. For a 5/32 thick Scandi ground knife, the Tree Frog does a pretty decent job at food prep. It's sharp enough to slice through, and if you're not worried about culinary art, then it will do the job whether you're on a picnic, you're on lunch break, or you're camping. I have to say that I love this knife. It's the only folder that currently to date that I absolutely love. This thing is solid, it feels good in your hand, it's not heavy, it's strong, and it gives you an unbelievable amount of torque and control when you're carving with this thing. It's the perfect bushcraft solution for those guys that either A, cannot carry a full tang fixed blade knife due to law, or B, simply don't want to. So we've been taking a close look at the Battle Horse Knives Tree Frog. I'm impressed by it. I've got nothing bad to say about it. It's solid, it's well made. All the things that we did with it, it never gave me the indication that it was going to fail on me. So I really don't believe it's going to fail on anybody under normal use. I think you're getting a big bang for your buck. On the website, it's priced at $180, which is what it was priced at the show when we picked this one up. For a 5/32 01 tool steel Scandi ground knife, that is a folder that you can take anywhere you need to take with you. Because closed, it's a 5-inch length. It's really going to be a huge solution for a lot of you guys out there that are stuck in an area where you can't carry a sheath knife. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope we did this knife some justice. If there is anything specific that you want to see this knife do before you decide to pull the trigger, hit us up in the comments. Let me know, and we will make a quick video and demonstrate those as soon as possible. We'll get maybe a list of 5 or 10 things you want to see it do, and then we'll shoot it again. But hit us up. Put it in the comments. Let us know, okay? Other than that, that's all I've got. Go buy this thing if you're not convinced already. Go buy it. Thanks. Look for us on the next one.